There are extensive manuals on exactly how to treat materials. These manuals tell you how to mark all classified materials. There is no wiggle room. These are military organizations. So when we look at the very first page of this, we see the very first page is a mess. And it's hard to know even where to start.
Well, just start at the top so that we can educate the general audience.
Okay, so the very first rule is that any document is marked top and bottom with the highest classification of any of the material that is in that document. You see that logo, Defense Intelligence Agency, that should say top secret. And those letters must be the biggest letters on the page.
Okay.
It must go top and bottom. Also, on that front page should be a control number, because certainly every top secret document is what they call controlled. That is, when it is issued, a physical copy is made, a number is put on it.
On some of the pages, it does say Agency Report Number 405389 off and on throughout.
Yeah, that just looks all wrong. It would be on the very first page. Now, the way this works is when that document is printed, a little sheet, they used to call them yellow sheets. The yellow sheet is filled out, and when they hand you the document, you sign a little yellow sheet that says, I have this document now, and now I am responsible for it. And you hand that yellow sheet back to the control officer. Now the control officer knows who has that document. That's the chain of responsibility. So you must return it to that control point, and they hand you that little yellow sheet back, and that is your proof that you actually returned the document. At the very bottom of this, it says read and destroy.
Mm-hmm.
Well, no recipient of a top secret document can destroy it. It does not have the permission. In the old days, you had to do it with secrets too, but they changed those rules 15 years ago. Classified documents, they're shredded. The modern shredders reduce the document to a substance that looks and feels like dryer lint.
So it's just really destroyed.
It absolutely is.
I had a question about in the middle of this top page where it has classified, has a line under it, has all caps, ultra top secret. Can you talk about this ultra top secret on this page?
I have never seen anything labeled ultra top secret. And I think that actually kind of violates the way you label materials. When things get very secret, say top secret, the point is not to give the enemies any clue of what is in it by its name. And so they assign actually random words. And so it'll say something like top secret, and then in parentheses it'll say boardroom water pitcher or boardroom oak. And so those two words, boardroom and oak, are randomly chosen from a random generator. So there could be no trail of how those things were chosen. If there are subprograms, branches of these secrets, because things are compartmentalized, they might name the other branches after other trees. So it might say boardroom elm or boardroom beech.
Do you know from all of your work with that classification guide book, was there a period of time in the 1940s, 50s, 60s when the word ultra was used with top secret? And I'm thinking of the MK Ultra CIA program.
I have no idea on that. I never saw anything like that. I worked from 85 until 2012. This document is dated 89, so that was right in my work period when I was consulting those classified manuals. The guides did talk about top secret, but they certainly did not talk about alien top secret stuff.
Okay, and you personally never saw ultra top secret as a classifying category?
No, never.
Have you ever seen the MAJIC spelling associated with Majestic 12 or MJ12 that has been identified in releases such as the Psalm 101 training manual that is dated 1954 from the War Office?
No. Let me say clearly, I was working with ship acoustics. Security was such that you were very compartmentalized. If it had to do with submarine noises, there I was. That was my field. I will tell you this. At one point, I did a project where I had to brief the Assistant Secretary of the Navy, who is a civilian. When I came to brief him, his aide was a full admiral, right?
Mm-hmm.
The full Navy admiral did not have the clearance to hear what I was going to say. He had to leave the room.
Wow.
Things are very compartmentalized when it comes to classified stuff. And so never heard of people sharing classified data that was not absolutely need to know.
Okay. When you were showing your FBI counterintelligence colleague, who is still working in the alphabet agencies as we are speaking in June of 2017, and you wanted him to see this document at my request because I want to know what is wrong with it to help me, to help audiences understand when something is leaked, that there would be some criteria we can now look at with professional guidance. What was your colleague's statements about page 1, page 2, and so forth? Can you break it down about what he said?
Well, sure. He, like I, just thought this was a haphazard marking and that it was, in his words, too much. You would never see a document marked this way. Eyes-only access, I don't know if that even exists as a marking. The word classified on the very first page means nothing to any military guy. There's no such classification as classified. That is really sort of a giveaway that the person has no idea what they're talking about. There is no official word called classified. And you see it all over the distribution sheet, page 2, and they have it stamped in blocks. Not only is it a nonsense word, there's no reason to put it in there. Specifically the author. You can see in block 7, under authors, it's marked classified. Now, that doesn't make any sense at all because as a briefing material, if you are briefing something, you must know who the author is so that when the question shows up in the brief and whoever you're briefing says, well, what about this thing? You have to be able to look to the author and say, I can get that answer.
Mm-hmm.
And that will come from the author. So I have to know who that author is. So it doesn't make any sense not to put the author in there. But that is just one of the funny things. The real giveaway is probably what you see on page 10. 10 is the first page that actually has a lot of words on it. That's on the right-hand side of the page. It is marked page A1 of 4.
Mm-hmm.
Again, improperly marked. We're not allowed to have words above the classification at the top. Where it says dissemination, that is just plain not allowed. Any words like that must go below that top secret marking. And when you are marking documents that have text in it, every paragraph must start with the classification of that paragraph in parens. Like if it was secret, you would see left-hand parens S, right-hand parens, and then the sentence would start. That is an absolute hard and fast rule for any classified document. And that includes confidential, which is the lowest level of classification.
What would that be? C inside of parentheses?
That's correct. Sometimes you'll see more letters inside those parentheses, and you'll see S-NF, which stands for secret no foreign, which means no foreign distribution. They would never, ever allow you to violate the rules of marking.
Okay, and the marking relates also to the controversy over Hillary Clinton, her iPhone, when they said that they found messages that were marked with a C in parentheses, which was confidential, and that was one of the arguments that she did have classified material on her iPhone?
That's exactly right. You were looking at that initial C that starts a paragraph. And if you look at her emails, you'll see that here and there. Whoever sent her those things were tremendously sloppy.
Why do you think that someone, let's say in an alphabet agency, who might have wanted to get out some of this information that is real mixed in with a lot that is not, why would they deliberately release this in such a not viable format to anybody in the intelligence or military world?
Well, I talked to my friend about the potential that this was disinformation, designed to get information out, but they put enough bad information in it, it becomes deniable. I asked him that very directly, and he's a guy that understands this very well because that is a common thing that spies do to each other, is you try to put poison pills out there.
Right, and he's counterintelligence.
Right, and the way you poison a whale, right, is you put out some good information, but then you put some poison pills in there, and they can't sort out which is which. So we looked at that, and he said he just would never believe that this was that kind of operation. To him, it looks tremendously amateurish. He follows the UFO phenomenon because he's an investigator, and that's a mystery. He told me once he was looking through the FBI database. He put in a search related to UFOs. He wanted to see what came out, and nothing came out. He knew something was wrong there. He knew that something should have come out from that search. So I would say he believes that somebody at the FBI is paying attention to this, but he has no idea who.
But you are convinced, for a number of reasons, that there is an alien presence on this planet.
Oh, yeah, absolutely convinced. There's not the slightest doubt of it.